Hi David.
Alright.
So this is our little bee project, isn't it?
It is.
And what I found was I lost my bees this winter, and I think it is because I had them in polyester boxes and they got all damp and soaked my bees when we had that really wet weather, and they literally, when I opened the hive one day, it was full of bees, full of honey. All my bees were soaking wet and dying off, and I think that was because it has a mesh on the bottom, but I don't know why, but I think the condensation went on top of the lid, just drained right down on the bees again, and that was the end of them.
Which is really sad.
Which is really sad. I've heard this winter's been tough for a lot of beekeepers, and traditionally I've had them in wooden boxes, because I was moving, I had them in the other boxes, and I've also had problems with the wooden boxes, and the problems with that is that they're not very thick, are they?
No.
So is that 20 mil?
18
mil.
20.
Yeah, so what I've inspired is the Warren hive, but unlike the Warren hive, this one is pretty much airtight on the inside, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, because each section has got insulation on there.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that it's airtight. We do have insulation.
It's airtight but breathable.
Airtight but breathable. That's what we're going for. Yeah.
And obviously, if we spin this round, when we're breathable, obviously it's breathing through the normal pieces.
It comes in from the front.
But at the top here,
we have a vent in the back. You can of course spin that around if you want to have in the front or the back.
And this is obviously adjustable in here, and it's also got a bug mesh in there, so you won't get bees going in there or flies or anything.
But you can always take the bug mesh out if you want to have an entrance for the bee at the top.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's an option as well. But the general idea is this is actually an outer skin for the normal hives. So you have the bottom box where you'll have a brood box that will go into the lower box, and we're going to take this apart in a second and you can see how that works.
Yeah.
So each section's got these secure clamps to make sure it doesn't blow over in the wind, and ease of transportation. You could actually transport the whole hive in here, couldn't you, David?
I should think so.
If you put all the clamps on and you closed it off, you could pretty much move it around.
I should think so.
So I don't have the capability of the van for it now, but if you had a van, you could do it.
Yeah. But that is...
So this is the sectional bit.
That's the roof section.
That's the roof section. So what you will do is you'll put your existing hive in here, and that will match up to the entrance down here, and we've made that because I'm using a grid mesh under here. So the whole idea is that mesh, you put that in. Of course easier, you can take all these stuff off, but you put the mesh in there so that lines up with your hole. And then you put your other hives stack it on top.
And if you want, if you want to clean it, if you want to take the tray out of the back, you remove those 4 screws. This panel just literally comes out the back. You slide that tray out.
Exactly, you get to the tray.
Back.
You can get your check your Varroa count, whatnot. But anyway, these are sectional, so we take off each clamp. We have these handy handles here on each side, so it's made nice and tight. Still on there, So the whole idea basically is to keep this, give it the extra 20 mil insulation on the outside, a bit of an air gap, and your original box on the inside. So that's going to be pretty good, I think. I'll set this up in a couple of days in my garden with a bit of comb and stuff, hoping I can attract a swarm. But it's annoying because I have this nice beehive now, but I don't have any bees.
So I put those 2 sections in it and then put this the feeder lid on.
We can take the other. We'll just take the other section off, and we'll just demonstrate how the other bit works.
Yeah.
As well worth the clamps. That really makes it secure.
Yeah. Just put that on there for a second.
Get this brood box over because that's the right height for it. If you pop that in.
Okay. This you can see the gap around the outside, but when you get to the top,
Yeah. So there's your feeder box.
Actually, that lid is designed to go on the top one.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's got a different. The top section is different because they haven't got these locating pegs on the top one.
No, they don't.
Because this lid has to fit on top of that box. So, actually, to demonstrate that, if you had this is so you can see that this will fit on here. And because the top section has only got these metal clips in and not the wooden pegs, this still fits inside everything else. If you do need to change section, providing you fit them all to the back, because they're all marked inside, which is the back and the front, as long as the roof goes on that section. If you want to add to the hive or reduce the hive by adding a super,
that's the top bit, but maybe we need to do that on the bottom bit as well, because otherwise, if you just want to have one box in there, you can't do it, can you?
No.
All right, well, this is a work in progress. We're doing little improvements all the time.
Yeah.
So there's one little improvement there, but the concept is that you have this insulated roof here where you can put a feeder in the middle. We also have a little patch to go in here. We got the lid to go on top, let the air out, like that, and that will help with your roof insulation compared to your standard one. And this is all made but with treated wood, so this will have a very hard time rotting, so it will last for a very long time. All the wood which the bees are in contact with is untreated, including the top lid and the underside of the lid. So that's not been treated.
No.
So it's work in progress. We're going to test this. I need to get some bees as well, but the whole idea is to have an environment which the bees can control the heat more efficiently, and also help with build up of moisture. Right, here's your traditional beehive, and I come to a conclusion that it's not enough for my bees during the winter, all the bees I used to have. I also tried, we'll go in here, also tried these Hanes polyester boxes, which I use the Langstroth size, and I think they're a real pain because you could hardly get your frames in here. It's so tight, they need to be a little bit wider. But the real problem was this winter, as I mentioned earlier, I got a heck of a lot of condensation in there, even though they had honey and they were a decent number. They didn't get through winter, so I think it was too tight. It's got a mesh on the bottom, so it should have been able to drain through there, but still, even with that, they I think the condensation came on the top and started dripping down on the bees, and we really had those terrible days of massive amounts of rain followed by frost, and I think that simply is too much for my bees. So yeah, I've tried both the polyester hives, I've tried wooden hives, and I haven't been that successful. Of course, it could be my beekeeping style resulting in this, but I do think this winter had a lot to do with it, because I've not had this misfortune earlier, losing so many bees at the same time. So now this has been converted to a swarm trap, so hopefully I'll catch something. I've got a box up here, hopefully I'll catch something in that. And I've got this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this with my brand new outer skin hive. So I had this idea with making an outer skin, inspired by the British style hives with the outer skin, the worn hives, but I wanted something a little bit more, a little bit different. So I'm going to put it together now, and if you like it, you can contact David. I'm going to put his details in this video, and he'll make one for you. I do believe his price for the full set is £375, which is a bargain, handmade by him in his workshop. The idea was something I've been thinking up, and I worked with David to get it made. So for me, there's nothing in it for me, but hopefully dry and insulated bees. For David, it's his semi-retirement plan hobby, so if these hives are popular, that'd be great for him. So this is the concept. We discussed it a bit earlier, but we'll go a bit more in detail here. Here's the outer box. This is the lower brood box outer skin. If you look in here, we have secured a entrance reducer and a mouse stopper. So there's two entrances, one on each side. That's just how it kind of turned out. But this way you can open one where the bees go in and out, and you can use the other one to distract wasps and other animals trying to get in. So and if you have a full flow in the summer, you can open all of them, and there'll be more than enough for a huge colony of bees going in and out there. So the basic idea is you have one here, close the other, so the bees and the wasps and stuff will be tempted to try and get in there, robbers, etc. And the bees that have left their pheromone knows their way into the hive here. They go in and they come in here, and there's a tunnel in the middle. So it will be like a hole in a tree. They'll crawl in and come into their hive. Here we have our mesh board. I was actually planning on reducing that, so I don't have mesh here. I'm gonna put something, reduce half of that mesh just for my own sake, and have some mesh here so any varroa and stuff can fall down, stay down there. This is of course optional. You could just have a normal wood floor in here, put the hive directly down. But yeah, that just the whole idea is the bees won't come into the air gap in the middle here. So that's the basic mesh. As David mentioned earlier, we've made this so you can unscrew the back. Right now I'm having it up against the wall, but if this is in a field or something, you can unscrew the back. Another nice thing is if you kind of move the hive around, you can actually just close it in the front, and the boxes will be inside, so if you don't bump around too much, or if you put something in between, you can transport your bees in the entire hive like this. Yeah, so now I'm going to put this box, which has some drawn out comb and other things, in here to demonstrate how it would look if you had bees, which I don't. So we'll just pretend. So here we got our abandoned hive swarm trap. I've heard a lot of people lost bees, so we'll see how many swarms are about this year. But I hope the bees that are left, especially the ones out in the wild, will be extra prolific when it comes to swarming this year, so fingers crossed. But yeah, I have lined this up on the inside. It's getting dark now, unfortunately, but you can still see in there. So the general idea is that there's no way for the bees to come out on the side down here, but the mesh in the floor allows for air to flow through the entrance, come in, go down and up the sides. So you'll have a very mild airflow going through, and you'll also of course have air coming straight in through the tunnel and into the bees. So it's this is a concept, so we might drill some holes in the floor if we need more oxygen to come in, or some more vent holes. We did add on the left side, there is more vent holes just going in, so you do have air coming in from both sides here. That should be fairly efficient at airing the hive. So that's something we need to work on. If you have any comments on the way we can improve the design and make this better, please let us know. We've also made a custom lid for the inner part of the hive, you might have seen earlier, but we're going to look more at it right now. That's also a prototype. There was a little misunderstanding between David and I when we made it. So the prototype lid is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to put this in for now. And what happened was that the lid here, David heard me say, which I probably did. I am bad at explaining things sometimes. I did. So he made it with the lip that goes over, like the original lids. I want this to be flush, so the next lid will be flush. So you can come in with your hive tool and pry it open. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm fitting an inner lid like this. I'm just going to do the queen excluder now because I have it, and this lid is quite manky. So I'll have an extra lid on the inside here which the bees can't enter, but that will prevent me from having them propolis the edge of this and not being able to come under with the hive tool. So that's something we've already addressed. So the next lid will be flush, and you can pry that open. Of course, when you only have one box in here, it will be quite hard to get to the lid, so that's why it's nice to have two lids. One normal lid for your hive, and then this lid that will come on top, and you can still come in with your hive tool on the side here, pry it open. A bit more tricky, but the idea is when you have more than one box, everything becomes much more easy. So once you have a super or something like that, you can actually you can get it off a lot better. We'll work on the design. We might make this top box a little lower because this is the prototype hive. We might put it down here so that the first box is much lower, so that you can access this box much more readily. We have made it so now I could fit, well, I'm going to fit this lid. So this lid's job is basically to provide some extra insulation on the top of your hive, and also a space where you can add feed. So the idea here is that you can add your round feeder in there, depending on size, or you could put a lump of fondant and then you can cover this on the top. And when you're not using it, we do have a little we have this lid that goes on top here, and we have this that goes on top there, just to help so we still have aeration coming through. We might improve that, we might reduce it, open it. That's your air just coming out the top of the hive. And at this point you can decide to put your lid on and leave it at that. But I'm going to put the whole box together just because I want to see how it looks. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So that's your hive coming together. We have added this vent. We've got a little bug guard in there, and you can adjust your airflow coming through. If you want extra mode, the other idea with this is that you can remove the bug guard. You can open your hive on the inside. So if you have this, if you have two brood boxes and let's say two supers on top of that, you can keep it open in the summer, and you can have your vent out. And what you can do is on the inside, you can do, for example, put in a board where we have the grid now. You can have one with a one-way escape route for the bees, so they can go out but not come in. So they will fly out this way and come in down here. So any robbers might come in there, but they can't get into the hive. So I don't know, we'll see how things develop and how to do it. So to prevent anything happening in a storm, we have these clips here, which we then tighten depending on where they are, like so. And you can tighten them. So you of course adjust them depending on which lid the lid is on, or which box the lid is sat on. It's quite easy. At the moment I need to, I've just put it on a couple of breeze blocks. I need to stabilize that, that's a bit wobbly, but this is just to show what the basic thing is. I'm actually having David is currently making me set of legs as well that will come on this, and I got some 4x4 thick legs that will come under here on the frame, and I'll make this a lot more stable than what it is right now. In the meantime, I'll just find something to pry it up. Once you are in a certain position, it's fine. It's just, yeah, ignore that right now. There we go. The clamps. That's tight. Out a bit. There we go. So I'm not an expert beekeeper, as you can tell, as I have no bees, but I do have quite a lot of hope that this setup would be quite successful in terms of giving the bees more shelter and insulation. So I'm going to keep this open now as it's spring. I think you could do that anytime really. It'd be interesting. I'm going to see if I can fit a thermometer in there so we can measure it compared to heat going in and going out during the day. So the general idea is, and during the summertime, this will keep the hive much cooler, and in the winter time it will keep the inner boxes hotter, because in the winter of course the bees are keeping the colony warm, and in the summer the bees will cool the hive and also keep it warm during the night in the autumn and spring. So I think it's a very interesting concept. Of course it's been done before on the Warren hive. This is kind of an evolution of that. I'm not claiming to make anything brand new here, it's just a bit different. We made these handles for ease of use, so the general idea is that when you're going to inspect your bees, you take your lid off, you have your inner lid in there, so that will keep the bees in place. You take your next lid off and then you can start inspecting going down. So it's a little bit more work than your traditional beehive, but then again you have a lot more protection for your bees from the elements. In nature they would be in a big hollow oak or another tree, and have several inches of wood to protect them. In beekeeping we don't have that. These boxes with only 18mm corners here, and even that is, you only got about 10mm where the frames go in, and of course it affects everything. People might argue that's enough, but in the winter we had, I don't think it was enough, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. And these people who lost bees, that might be one of the reasons. It's very pretty. I think it's a good looking hive. You can get this in several colors. I'm going to add a picture of it, and I'm going to add David's number, so you can text him, give him a call. No harassments. If anyone starts harassing or anything, they I'll remove the number, but I've got permission to put it up. I please leave a comment if you have any ideas for improvements or how this could be made better. This is a project I have funded out of my own pocket with the help of David, and it might be a waste of time, but I genuinely believe it's not. I think it's well worth the time, and I think it's a really good looking box. I think this will look good in any garden. So yeah, leave us a comment if you like it. If you hate it, keep your mouth shut, or give us a very good explanation why you hate it. Any abuse or disrespectful comments will not be tolerated. Any useful criticism is most welcome. Yeah, until next time, have a good one. Alright, yeah, I forgot to mention that currently it's been designed with the Langstroth size in mind. So you can fit a Langstroth in there, but technically you could fit any hive smaller than a Langstroth in width and length in this box. So it's if you got two types of hives in your garden, if you have Langstroth and some Nationals, it might be a good one, so you can actually use it for both. So worth mentioning. And if anybody's got spare bees, please let me know, because currently I have no bees. So if you want to give me some bees to prototype, put in this prototype hive, please let me know. That'd be fantastic. If not, that's fine as well. Just doesn't hurt to ask. All right, until next time, have a good one.